How often do you find yourself in situations where you want to explode with anger or frustration? Imagine you are running late, but everyone around you is acting reserved. Why? In Japan, there is a special concept called gaman. It is the art of patience, inner strength, and self-control. Why do the Japanese remain calm even in the most difficult situations? How can you learn to manage emotions and develop psychological resilience? Let's take a look at the gaman philosophy and its practical application in life. The concept of a wallet is deeply rooted in Japanese culture and history, shaping the national character for centuries. The term is derived from two characters, jie, I, self, and man, to endure, to bear, literally meaning to bear with oneself or to restrain one's ego. The wallet emerged at the intersection of religious and philosophical traditions, including Buddhism, Shintoism, and Confucianism, which emphasize the importance of harmony with the world around us and the subordination of individual desires to collective needs. Historically, the wallet has become a necessary survival mechanism for the Japanese. Japan's geographical location on an archipelago that was constantly subject to natural disasters, earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons, required incredible endurance and the ability to quickly recover from disasters. This shaped the national ethos of stoic acceptance of the inevitable and understanding of the temporality of everything that exists, the concept of mujo. In addition, the limited natural resources on the islands fostered frugality, patience, and the ability to be content with little. In the feudal era, the samurai code of Bushido further consolidated the purse as a social virtue. The samurai cultivated unwavering self-control, considering the display of emotions a sign of weakness. This warrior ethic gradually penetrated all segments of society. During the Second World War and the post-war Reconstruction period, the Gan became a national coping strategy. Today, despite the rapid modernization and westernization of Japan, Gan remains a fundamental aspect of Japanese identity, manifesting itself in all areas of life, from business etiquette to personal relationships. Interestingly, Han should not be perceived simply as passive patience or suppression of emotions. In the Japanese sense, it is an active, conscious practice that requires inner strength and a deep understanding of oneself. Japanese culture sees mindfulness as a way to self-improvement and achieving inner freedom through self-discipline. In contrast to Western individualism, which often focuses on self-expression, the Japanese tradition sees true freedom in the ability to control one's impulses and act in accordance with higher principles. At the heart of the philosophy of the wallet are several interrelated principles that form a holistic approach to life. The first, and perhaps the most fundamental, is Shikan Taza, or just sitting, a Zen Buddhist concept that implies full presence in the moment without judgment or evaluation. In the context of a wallet, this means the ability to observe your emotions and reactions from a certain distance without letting them guide your actions. By practicing Shiken Taza, the Japanese learn to create a space between stimulus and reaction, which allows them to act consciously rather than react impulsively. The second key principle, WWO, harmony, emphasizes the importance of maintaining balanced relationships with others. In this context, a wallet appears as a social responsibility. By restraining one's own emotions and desires, a a person contributes to the overall well-being of the group. The WA principle explains why the Japanese often refrain from openly expressing disagreement or criticism, preferring indirect communication that preserves social peace. Closely related to WA is the concept of ame, interdependence and mutual trust, which forms the basis of Japanese social ties. Gamen, in this sense, is a recognition that personal sacrifice is necessary to maintain these important ties. The third fundamental principle, Shogyo Mujo, or all things pass away, reflects the Buddhist understanding of the impermanence of all things. Realizing that difficulties are temporary, the Japanese developed the ability to endure even the most difficult circumstances with dignity and calm. This perspective allows them to perceive suffering not as meaningless misfortune, but as a natural part of the life cycle that has its beginning and end. This worldview is reflected in the aesthetic principle of wabi-sabi, which is the vision of beauty in imperfection, aging, and temporality. Equally important is the principle of gambare, which is perseverance and resilience in the face of difficulties. If gan is an internal restraint, then gambare is an external manifestation of this quality through tireless efforts and a constant desire for self-improvement. Together, gan and gambare form a powerful combination of emotional restraint and tireless action that allows the Japanese to achieve long-term goals. Finally, the principle of kenzin, or wholeness, implies the harmonious development of all aspects of the personality, body, mind, and spirit. In this context, gamen is not a simple suppression of emotions, but a balanced approach to self-expression that takes into account the needs of the individual and society. The principles of Gan are practiced in many aspects of everyday life in Japan. This is most evident in the area of business ethics and professional behavior. In the workplace, the Japanese demonstrate an incredible ability to withstand long working hours, monotonous tasks, and high levels of stress without complaints or complaints. The concept of ishokudogen, the unity of work and personality, emphasizes that professional endurance is a reflection of personal character. Although in recent years, Japanese society has begun to critically rethink the culture of overwork, the ability to focus on the process and put effort into every detail remains a valuable quality that ensures the legendary Japanese quality of products and services. In the area of personal relationships, Gan is manifested through patience with the shortcomings of others and a willingness to compromise. The Japanese often emphasize the importance of reading the air, kuki o him, an intuitive understanding of the social situation and adjusting one's behavior accordingly. This requires constant attention to nonverbal cues and emotional states of others, as well as a willingness to put aside one's own needs. In Japanese families, the wallet has traditionally been considered the basis of long-term marriages, where the ability to endure difficult periods was valued above instant gratification. Although modern Japanese are becoming more open to discussing their feelings, the idea of patient acceptance is still deeply rooted in the approach to relationships. Gaman is also evident in the Japanese approach to crises and natural disasters. The world has repeatedly marveled at the stoicism and organization with which the Japanese have responded to catastrophic earthquakes, tsunamis, and nuclear accidents. The absence of panic reactions, looting, and social unrest during the 2011 Fukushima crisis is a vivid example of the collective wallet. This is not to say that the Japanese do not feel fear or anxiety, but rather that they cultivate the ability to act effectively, even under the influence of strong emotions, by focusing on what can be controlled and accepting what cannot be changed. Interestingly, the gumption finds expression even in such everyday situations as standing in lines, using public transportation, or living in cramped city apartments. The Japanese ability to wait patiently for their turn, stand silently in a crowded subway, or make the most of limited living space reflects a deeply rooted understanding that personal comfort often has to come before collective needs. The practice of motainai, frugality with resources, is also a manifestation of ganja, as it requires the denial of immediate gratification for the sake of long-term sustainability. Life is not only about pleasant moments, but also about trials. Haman's philosophy teaches us, calmness does not mean indifference, patience does not mean weakness. True strength is the ability to withstand difficulties and not lose your balance. The next time something goes wrong, don't rush to react. Take a pause, take a breath, because true strength is in your inner resilience.